everyone, and welcome back to your show, Sound Character MAXIMS with David ADEGBOYEGA, right here on GVTV. Joy, peace, and progress. These are stable for life. And that's why on our show today, we're talking about the fact that sound character removes defensiveness in discussions. Sound character removes defensiveness in discussions. And I want us to know that for some time, I've been focusing on conversations. I've been focusing on communication. Why? Because the thin line between love and love lost is communication, conversations, dialogue. That's the thin line between love and love lost. That's the truth. Now, if you can take a moment to process that statement, that the thin line between love and hate is sound character. It's communication. The thin line between where you are and where you need to get to is communication. I'm telling you. It's important we understand that. And that's why on our show today, I want us to understand that sound character removes defensiveness in conversations. When you're having a discussion, it's important that when you're being defensive, you won't achieve the aim for that conversation. Now, people don't get defensive because of what you're saying. Not at all. Why do people get defensive? People get defensive because of why they think you are saying what you're saying. Now, this is important. People get defensive based on what they think, why they think you are saying what you're saying. Wait a minute. But I'm not responsible for what they think, you think. So that's why communication is a serious business. Why? Because people don't hear what you say. People hear what they heard. You don't get that? People don't hear what you say. People hear what they heard or what they said to themselves from what you said. Now, so why is that important? So it's important, therefore, to know what people have heard. It's important to know what people have heard. And that's why sometimes Jesus would ask his guys, what do you say about this? Because he wants to be sure. And until you ask questions, you don't know what people have heard. You can imagine in John chapter 14, when Philip said, show us the Father. And Jesus was like, show you the Father? After having been with me for such a long time? Yeah. But of course he explained to them. Now, so it's important you know what people have heard. And people they are not defensive because of what you're saying. They are defensive about why they think you're saying what you are saying. Now, when you understand, when you encounter defensiveness when you're having a discussion, then you need to step out of that discussion and do a couple of things. Number one, try to find out what story they are telling themselves about what you're saying. And I would want someone to please do this and let's talk how you are using this skill. It's a skill. It's a skill. When you have it, you are in charge of any discussion. When you have it, you are in charge of any conversation. What's the skill? the skill to know how to unravel the stories in anybody's mind. Yes, it's a skill. Because people talk based on the stories in their minds. You know what? The stories in your mind create your emotion. And of course, that emotion creates action. That emotion creates conversations. That emotion creates your life. That emotion creates your marriage. That emotion creates your business. That emotion creates your parenting. That emotion guides your life. So what if it's a wrong story? Then that means it's a wrong emotion, and then everything goes wrong. But of course, sound character, maxims. We are here to bring joy to your life. And that's why today we're saying to you that sound character removes defensiveness from discussions. And how does this happen? You need to step out of that conversation. You need to be able to restore mutual purpose. So when you're having a discussion with someone and the person is getting defensive, don't react. You know, Newton's third law of motion says to every action, there's a corresponding and equal reaction. No, you don't need to react when somebody gets defensive. Rather, step out of the discussion and then ask a couple of questions to know what the person has said to himself based on what you have said. And that's why sometimes, you're encouraged to listen to a message 2 or 3 times, because the first time you hear something, you hear yourself, not what the person has said. Then when the person repeats himself, then you hear less of yourself and more of the person. And then when the person says it a 3rd time, you begin to hear that person. Use this as a skill. I'm telling you, you're going to be a winner anytime. You'll be a winner any day. Many a times when you get defensive, the focus shifts from the conversation, it shifts to yourself. And nothing destroys a relationship like what we call selfishness. Don't focus on yourself. Focus on the other person. Get to know, where is this defensiveness coming from? What have I said? What has he inferred from what I have said? And that way, there'll be no shame. You won't have to defend yourself and get angry and get annoyed and raise your voice. And no. We want a joyful world. We are committed to a joyful world. And you need to know that it's important that I ensure that my space is joyful. When there's a conversation, you need to remove defensiveness. Now, so how do you do that? Now, as you're learning this, you are learning how to communicate. Now, in a communication, you could either be on the receiving end or on the giving end. Wherever you are, either you are the encoder or the decoder, wherever you are, when you learn these skills, you are in a powerful position. Of course, like we know, in the communication flow, there's always noise. You can't do without noise. That's why you need to ensure that you get to know what noise is going on in the person's head, so that you can take away the noise and get your message across. When we learn this skill as leaders, we will change our nation. Leaders, we have a great nation, Nigeria. Nigerians are the best set of people in the world. Nigerian youths are the best in the world. Dear government, if you learn to engage with us, oh God, you would have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful regime. Governor, local government, chairman, president, please listen to Nigerians. Engage with us. Get to know the stories on our minds. How are we going to change this nation? We love our president. We love the office of the president. We love our nation. We want our nation to be great. We have no other nation. We have no other ambition. I mean, what if the president was my father? Would I hate him? No, I will love him. But I will have conversations with him. And I will have those conversations in a way that I want him to hear me. And of course, in the course of that conversation, there will be things we will disagree with. But we can disagree without being defensive. We can disagree and then get to the point of agreeing. Not disagreeing to agree, but we disagree, we discuss thoroughly, and then we come to a common point. We come to a common ground. That's the beauty of conversation. And that's why today we must learn how to deal with defensiveness. And that's what sound character does. How do you do that? When you commit to a life of mutual purpose, when you commit to a life of mutual respect, purpose and respect would help you to take care of defensiveness. Why? Because people get defensive not because of what you are saying, because of why they think you are saying it. So when you meet defensiveness, you need to step out of the discussion and let the person know, first of all, what I'm saying is coming from a place of mutual purpose. We are on the same side. We are committed to the same goal. That must be enforced. That must be reinforced. That must be reinforced. When you reinforce that, then it becomes easy to continue your conversation. And of course, when you reaffirm mutual purpose, and of course you reaffirm respect, oh, come on, you'll be heard. And when you're heard, your voice, your intention will be achieved. So this is a strategy to ensure that we get whatever we want. And it's not manipulative. We're just conversing, we're having discussions, and we're ensuring that we're transforming our nations. You know, I work as a pastor in Amposi, in Makoko, Lagos, Nigeria. You know, and we've been there about 3 years now. And the children, the teenagers, they're coming, they're hearing the word of God. And their lives are being transformed. So Makoko, the area we are is a kind of place where the children are free, they play, they run around, they do all this stuff, they have energy. You know, but gradually, as we begin to engage them, as we begin to interact with them, they're calming down, they're hearing the word of God. We're able to disciple them. When Jesus said, go, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things. Now, how are we going to achieve that if we don't communicate? And how will the communication go through if there's defensiveness? So, anytime you meet defensiveness, just know that that defensiveness is a devil to your communication. And you deal with that defensiveness by reinforcing mutual purpose and mutual respect. Very important. And that's what we do on this show. And everything we're saying here is useful in your marriage, is useful in your business, is useful in your workplace, is useful to win customers, is useful to retain customers, is useful to be a blessing to your world. There's no need to live a stressed up life. There's no need to label people as difficult. All you need to do is just to ensure that you live a life free of defense. You ensure that when you communicate, you reinforce purpose and respect. You try this for whatever you are involved in. You will definitely see great results. Now, it's important for us to know that when we talk about sound character, we're talking about humility. We're talking about love. We're talking about purpose. We're talking about a purposeful living. We're talking about a selfless life. The reason you get defensive when somebody objects to what you're saying is because you're focusing on yourself. Now, when you imbibe selflessness as a virtue, that is, you don't count yourself to be anything, no matter your level. See, what your reputation and your personality and your character, these are things you must understand. You must know that you must know who you are. That is the real deal, your character. let your reputation flow from that. Let your personality be in a well-formed person. That way, you don't need to be defensive. You just speak your truth. When there's an issue to be discussed, you discuss it selflessly. It's important. And that's why we're coming to you today on our show. And we're saying that it's important that you engage sound character to have defenseless conversations. You don't waste time. You get things done quickly. And the skill is when you are talking to someone and you observe defensiveness, just get to the root of the matter. How do you do that? Ask a couple of questions. Ask a couple of questions to get to know the facts of the matter that is creating stories in the person's mind. And then when you get to know that, you reinforce purpose. I mean, my wife and I, we have 3 simple things that guide us. Because see, in any relationship, there are going to be conversations that are going to be tough at some times. But these 3 things guide us. Number 1 is we are on the same side. Number 1, we are on the same side. Number 2, there is no point to prove. Number 2, there's no point to prove. Number 3 is what? We are in this together. We're in this together. Deal with the issue, not the person. So when an issue comes up, deal with that issue. Don't label the person. Even if the person has done that repeatedly, don't label the person. When you do that, when you don't label people, you have conversations that flow. What we want is free flow of meaning. That's dialogue. And when you have free flow of meaning, you will impact lives. You will transform lives. You will get your word out. I'm telling you. You know, like I'm saying, my wife and I work as a pastor in Makoko. And, you know, we're seeing transformation in the lives of the people. Why? Because of conversations with them. Every Sunday, every Tuesday, every Thursday. These conversations are changing lives. And that's why your conversation, you must not joke with it. Why? Because your conversations determine the quality of your life. Your conversation determines the quality of your life. And you must not joke with them. No matter where you find yourself, if you need promotion, if you need to grow your business, please learn the right conversations to have. And you will see your business grow. You will see your life transform. You can't do without communication. To move higher, you must communicate. You are at the level you are because of your level of communication. If you can communicate better, you will rise higher. And that's why today I'm saying to us, let's learn how to be less defensive or not defensive at all. That's the beauty of conversations. That's the beauty of sound character. You don't know a person's character until the person speaks. And that's why I love to talk about sound character, because I love to bring joy anywhere I work. No matter the challenges you're facing, no matter how tough your targets are, you need to communicate to achieve your targets. Why? Because you need a team to achieve your targets. And I mean, I learned a lot from King David in the Bible. He's such a fantastic guy, and that's why God actually said, this is a guy after my own heart. There's so much to learn from him. But before I close on our show today, I want to tell you a little thing about David. David, a man after God's heart. You know, there was a time they were going to war, and he had 400 men with him. 200 were tired. He asked them to stay. And then he went with the other 200 guys. They went, they won the war, they came back. And the bad guys were saying, hey, we're not going to share with these guys. He said, no, you don't do that. And he made a law that day, he made a policy that day, that everybody will share equally, both those that stayed and those that went. It's important for us to know how to be selfless. When you are selfless as a leader, you're going to be a great leader. And this goes out to everybody. As I'm talking to you, and everything we see on this show is two-edged. As it applies to you, it applies to me. And it's so much joy when you're able to live a selfless life. Really, I want you to know something. That every day that you are alive, every day you have breath, you have an opportunity to live not just for yourself, but for others. Look at the prayer that Solomon, David's son, prayed. He said, Lord, give me wisdom so that I can know how to please you and serve the people. Wisdom to know how to please God and serve the people. Now, when you want to serve the people, you can't do that by being defensive when you're interacting with them. That's why it's important for you to learn what we're talking about today. It's important. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that sound character removes defensiveness from your discussions. If you have anyone that you can't have a smooth conversation for 1 minute, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, then you need to apply what you have learned on this show today. You need to learn how to step out of discussions and reinforce purpose and respect. And it's not by saying with all due respect, it's by asking questions, getting to know why is the person, questioning what you're saying? Why is he doubting what you're saying? And you have not spoken until you've known what the person has heard. People don't hear what you say. People hear what they say to themselves. So that's why you need to find a way to know what has he said to himself based on what I said. Sound character removes defensiveness from discussions. And you need to be humble. You need to be also perceptive. You need to be discerning. You need to know, and that's why they say when you're talking to people, look at their eyes. Yes, when you see shifting gazes, when the eyes is powerful. Why? Because your eyes are the gates to your life. So when I look in your eyes, I can see you. When I look in your eyes, I can see your heart. And when you communicate with people, you communicate to their hearts. It's heart to heart. Now, and in the heart, so many things happen in the heart. So when there's a defensiveness in a conversation, that means there's something happening in the heart you need to get into. As I wrap up on our show today, I hope I've taught you. I hope you've learned how to step out of conversations and ask questions to get to know why people are defensive. It's a skill. It's not a talent. We all need to learn it. And when you learn it, you will improve your communications, you will improve your conversations, and you will improve your life. Till I come your way next time, remain safe, and remember that sound character removes defensiveness from communication. Restore purpose, be respectful, and have a great life. Thank you so much, and see you next time.